Today I'm going to teach you how to throw a citrus juicer on the pottery wheel. Now this is an intermediate to advanced level project, as it does combine a closed form in the middle and a bowl. Eventually we'll carve some lines here for the reamer and add a handle and a spout. Now this is a great tool for the kitchen for making fresh orange juice and lemonade. So I hope you're as excited as I am. Stay tuned and I'll show you how to do it. So we're gonna center the clay like normal, except when we dumb it down, we wanna make it pretty flat, pretty low, pretty flat, okay? We're gonna make a kind of like a donut. So getting it nice and wide and flat like that is a good start. Then we're gonna open it up in the middle and we're gonna go all the way down to the wheel head. Okay, make sure it's on center. You don't want to go off center at this point. Keep that opening on center. If it's not on center, it's going to be a lot more challenging to collar in and close the inside. Okay, the opening here, however wide you make it, is going to kind of dictate how wide the reamer of the juicer is going to be. Okay, I'm re-flattening this out. And when you re-flatten it, you want to make sure that if it overlaps over here, that you kind of make sure it's not tearing off, but I tore it off anyways, so that wasn't helpful. Okay, so we're at this point. We've got an open center. Get this water out of here just so I can make sure that I got the right size and shape in there. Now I'm gonna divide the inner part with the outer part. And so I push my thumb right here in the center and I'm basically pushing down here to separate these two parts. This will be the outer bowl, this will be the reamer. Okay? So now I use the tip of my thumb to establish the depth of the bowl here. And then I can kind of push out on the bowl a little bit. I'm not ready to pull the walls yet. I'll pull the walls a little bit later. I need this space to be able to operate. So now I'm going to basically pull a cylinder, which then will get closed in. So my first pull is going to be nice and gentle. And I can see that I didn't center it perfectly, so it's a little wobbly. But you know what? You guys can relate to that, right? So this will actually be good because you guys can know what to do. So what do you do when it's off center like that? Well, let's focus on the rim here. Let's do a pull. Let's try to get it even. And one thing I can do is I can cut this to make it level. Let's see if that helps. Okay, just cut right through to my finger and pull that off. It looks like it fixed it because now it's the same level and it's the same thickness. Okay, so that fixed it. So as we're doing our pull, we're trying to pull towards the center of the wheel. That's gonna help it to be able to be closed on itself. I'm gonna make sure I get all this clay at the bottom so it's nice and even. You guys, you've thrown cylinders before, you know that if we leave that clay at the bottom that we can't really get the full height that we want. So now I'm gonna collar this in. And while we collar, I know a lot of you have had that situation where you're collaring it in and it starts to get wobbly. Well, one of the reasons that is because your hands aren't wet enough. So sometimes you need to get your hands wet and just kind of get the outside of the clay nice and slimy. And then when you collar it in, it's not sticking to your fingertips. The other reason why it gets wrinkly or wobbly is because it gets wrinkly because when we're collaring it in, it's getting thicker. And so doing a collar and then doing a pull together is important. Okay.
Like when it rips.
When it rips?
Like the top.
If the top rips, maybe you got a little bit too much water that you're going, or are you talking about like you push it in and then you got like extra that comes off?
No, like it just like
It rips off.
yeah, like a
It.
crack.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Like a lateral crack. Yeah, that happens if the clay gets too thin at one spot. You know, sometimes we do a pull, and maybe the way our hands are postured, our fingers get really close together on a certain spot. For example, if when you're pulling, if your fingers are going up and they're getting closer like that at the same spot, or if you do a pull and then you pause and then you do another pull to that same spot and it gets really thin, it's going to be weak right there. And with the added force of the spinning and the water, it's more susceptible to breaking off. So that's just something to look out for, and just kind of, you know, evaluate. Okay, if this is happening over and over, what am I doing? How do I adjust that? Okay, so I'm collaring this in here and it's closed up. Now that it's closed, sometimes a little piece breaks off, that's okay. I'm just gonna use my thumb here to just compress this kind of once over that. And then I can do another collar, kind of a shaping collar here, even though it's already closed. Okay. Use a sponge to clean off any of that extra slip. Now I'm gonna focus on the bowl portion here. Okay, I'm gonna slow the wheel down just ever so slightly. Okay. I'll do a pull here. Do another pull where I'm focused a little bit more on the shape here. Okay, and then I can take my sponge and get this extra water out. Use this little piece of plastic here to round over the lip. Now I undercut it.